Kindle Kid presents The Boy and the Rainbow. The boy didn't mind the rain. But the grey sky made him long for the world to be colourful again. As if his wish had been heard, a golden sunbeam broke through the clouds. With it came a flash of light on the ground beside the trees. The boy picked up a sparkling key. Then, he spotted a rather unusual creature searching by a tree stump. "Oh, raindrops," said the creature. "Where could it be?" "Are you looking for this?" asked the boy. "You found it," cried the creature. "Now, I can unlock the rainbow." "Unlock a rainbow?" gasped the boy. "Watch the key. It will guide us as we unlock each of the colors," said the creature. "Every time it changes, a new magical door will be revealed." The boy stared as the key turned red and a shimmering door appeared. "Step inside," called the creature. "Welcome to Red," said the creature. The boy ran into the red world excitedly. Rows of giant toadstools lined a winding path of red brick. They hopped from one to another as red parrots raced above them. The boy breathed in the strawberry breeze and smiled. A few moments later, the key turned orange and the next door appeared. The boy giggled as a group of friendly tiger cubs tumbled around him. A snippy little crab waved as it carved pumpkins with a grin. The boy stared at the warm orange sunset and wished he could stay forever. But soon, the key turned yellow and the next door appeared. The sun was high in the sky. Beneath the boy's feet was warm sand. He sat under a giant daffodil and munched on bananas, melon, and mango. The boy closed his eyes and listened to the song of a canary. Before long, the key turned green and the next door appeared. They stepped out onto a springy bed of moss. The boy was filled with joy as they bounced higher and higher. Vines tickled their heads and they grabbed one each to swing on. The scent of freshly mown grass drifted around the boy's nose. After a little while, the key turned blue and the next door appeared. They walked out onto a jetty. The cool ocean was so inviting that they dived straight in. They floated in the water calmly as fish and whales swam beneath them. The boy had never seen the sky so clear. Then, the key turned indigo and the next door appeared. The sky was dark and the smell of blueberries filled the air. The boy walked over smooth pebbles that led to a river of ink. He dipped his finger in and drew patterns on the stones. The boy did not want to leave, but the next color needed to be unlocked. Finally, the key turned violet and the next door appeared. The boy was amazed to see a vast meadow of flowers. The lovely scent of lavender wafted up his nose. Rocks made of quartz formed a pool with starfish dancing in the water. Petals fluttered down from the sky like snowflakes, and the boy lay on the ground, watching the flurry. The key lost its colorful glow and the door that led back home appeared. "Every door has been unlocked," said the creature. "All the colors have been set free." "What happens now?" asked the boy as he stepped out of the door and found himself back in his garden. "Now we look up," smiled the creature. There it was. The most beautiful rainbow the boy had ever seen. And the world was colorful once more.
Kindle Kid presents The Boy Who Cried Wolf. There was once a boy who looked after sheep. The boy was bored. One day, he played a trick on the villagers. The boy cried out that there was a wolf attacking his sheep, even though there wasn't. The villagers came up the hill to save the sheep. When they got there, there was no wolf. The boy laughed at them. "You must not tell lies," said the villagers. They went back to the village. Soon the boy was bored again. He shouted, "Wolf! Wolf!" The villagers rushed up the hill to save the sheep. When they got there, there was no wolf again. The boy laughed at them again. "You must not tell lies," shouted the villagers. They went back down to the village. Later that day, a wolf did come into the field. The boy shouted and shouted, "Wolf! Wolf!" This time no one came to help, and the wolf ate all of the sheep. The moral of the story is, if you tell lies, people won't believe you when you do tell the truth. Thank you for watching the video. This is end of the story. See you next time.
Kindle Kids presents Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack. Jack lived in a cottage with his mother. They were very poor, and their most valuable possession was a cow. One day, Jack's mother asked him to take the cow to market to sell. On the way, Jack met a man who gave him some magic beans in exchange for the cow. When Jack came home with the beans, his mother was angry. She threw the beans out the window and sent him to bed. The next morning, Jack looked out the window. A giant beanstalk had grown in the garden. Jack decided to climb the beanstalk. It was so tall it went right up to the sky and through the clouds. When Jack finally reached the top, he saw an enormous castle. Jack decided to go inside. All the furniture was huge. Suddenly, Jack heard a loud noise. He ran into a cupboard to hide. An enormous giant came into the room. Fee, fee, faw, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman, he bellowed. The giant sat down at the table. On the table was a hen and a golden harp. Lay, said the giant. The hen laid an egg. It was made out of solid gold. Sing, said the giant. The harp sang. The giant fell asleep. Jack jumped out of the cupboard and took the hen and the harp. As Jack ran, the harp cried, "Help, master!" The giant woke up and called, "Fee, fee, faw, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman." He chased Jack to the top of the beanstalk. Jack climbed down the beanstalk, and the giant followed him. As Jack got to the bottom of the beanstalk, he shouted, "Help!" Jack's mother came out with an axe. She used it to chop the bottom of the beanstalk. The giant fell and crashed to the ground. He was never seen again. With the golden eggs and the magic harp, Jack and his mother lived happily ever after. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe.
Kindle Kid presents A Heap of Sheep. Illustrated by Twinkle and animated by Kindle Kid. High up on a hillside that is known as Sunny Sneap sits a cozy little town that's home to lots of busy sheep. Pearl is clearing leaves outside her cafe, Shepherd's Keep. But a puddle starts to form across the path she needs to sweep.
Whoops!
She takes a tumble all the way down Sunny Sneap. Then she lands in quite a jumble on a grouchy grazing sheep. Meanwhile, up the hill, the little lambs are fast asleep. Papa's trying not to wake them, so he gently starts to creep. Whoops! He takes a tumble all the way down Sunny Sneap. Then he lands in quite a jumble on the other tangled sheep. Meanwhile, up the hill, Alonzo runs to take a peep at a brightly colored bird that gives a loud and cheerful cheep. Whoops! He takes a tumble all the way down Sunny Sneap. Then he lands in quite a jumble, which creates a heap of sheep. Meanwhile, up the hill, Tallulah runs and takes a leap. But the other dancers wobble on the hill that's very steep. Whoops! They take a tumble all the way down Sunny Sneap. Then they land in quite a jumble till the heap is 10 sheep deep. Meanwhile, in the watch hut, Florence hears the siren bleep, which is telling her she needs to go and help a heap of sheep. Florence scoops the sheep and drives them straight up Sunny Sneap. Now they're safely back at home instead of tangled in a heap. Florence waves goodbye and gives her friends a little beep. Then she heads back down to rescue yet another heap of sheep. Thank you for watching the video.
Kindle Kid presents Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl called Goldilocks. One day, Goldilocks went for a walk in the forest and found a house. She knocked, and when nobody answered, she decided to go inside. At the table, there were 3 bowls of porridge. Goldilocks was hungry. She tasted the porridge from the large bowl. "This porridge is too salty," she said. She tasted the porridge from the medium-sized bowl. "This porridge is too sweet," she said. She tasted the porridge from the small bowl. "This porridge is just right," she said, and she ate it all up.
Goldilocks felt tired, so she walked into the living room and saw 3 chairs. She sat in the large chair to rest her feet. "This chair is too big," she said. She sat in the medium-sized chair. "This chair is too big, too," she said. She sat in the small chair. "This chair is just right," she sighed. Just as Goldilocks settled down into the chair to rest, it broke into pieces. By now, Goldilocks was very tired, so she went upstairs to the bedroom. She lay down on the large bed. "This bed is too hard," she said. She lay down on the medium-sized bed. "This bed is too soft," she said. She lay down on the small bed. "This bed is just right," she sighed. She curled up and fell asleep. As she was sleeping, the 3 bears came home. "Someone's been eating my porridge," growled Daddy Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Mummy Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge and it's all gone," cried Baby Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," growled Daddy Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mummy Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair, and it's broken," cried Baby Bear. When they got upstairs to the bedroom, Daddy Bear growled, "Someone's been sleeping on my bed." "Someone's been sleeping on my bed too," said the Mummy Bear. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and she's still there," cried Baby Bear. Just then Goldilocks woke up and saw the 3 bears. "Help!" she screamed. Goldilocks ran down the stairs and into the forest. And she never went back into the woods again. Thank Thank you for watching the video. Kindle Kid presents Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there was a girl called Little Red Riding Hood. She lived with her mother in a village near a forest. One day, Little Red Riding Hood went to visit her grandmother. She took a basket of food with her. On her way, Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf.
Hello. Where are you going?
I'm going to visit my grandmother who lives in the forest. The wolf ran to her grandmother's house. He went inside and locked her in the wardrobe. He put on her nightgown and got into her bed.
A little later, Little Red Riding Hood came to the house. She knocked on the door, then went inside. Little Red Riding Hood went over to grandmother's bed.
Oh Granny, what big ears you have.
All the better to hear you with.
Oh Granny, what big eyes you have.
All the better to see you with.
Oh Granny, what big teeth you have.
All the better to eat you with.
Help! Shouted Little Red Riding Hood as she realized that there was a wolf in her grandmother's bed. She ran out of the house. A woodcutter was nearby. He heard Little Red Riding Hood scream and ran to the house. The woodcutter hit the wolf over the head. The wolf ran away, and Little Red Riding Hood never saw him again. Later, the girl and her grandmother thanked the woodcutter, and the wolf never returned. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time.
Kindle Kid presents Christmas Special 10 Little Lights. At the edge of a wintry wood, a large house stood silent and still. The silvery light of the moon reflected off the fresh white snow below. A warm golden glow attracted a rat, who was scurrying in the frozen leaves. One little light was shining out in the night, and a rat was dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a hare, who was snuffling in some crunchy twigs. Two little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat and a hare were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a fox, who was prowling in the powdery snow. 3 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare and a fox were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted an owl, who was gliding between the glistening trees. 4 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox and an owl were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a mole, who was digging in the icy soil. 5 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl and a mole were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a robin, who was darting between lacy snowflakes. 6 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl, a mole and a robin were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a deer, who was sheltering under the bare branches of an old oak tree. 7 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl, a mole, a robin and a deer were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a badger, who was foraging in the frosty bushes. 8 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl, a mole, a robin, a deer and a badger were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a stoat, who was scampering through a hollow log. 9 little lights were shining out in the night, and a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl, a mole, a robin, a deer, a badger and a stoat were dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. The glow became brighter and attracted a cat, who was returning to its toasty bed across the thick blanket of snow. 10 little lights were shining out in the night, and a cat was looking back at a rat, a hare, a fox, an owl, a mole, a robin, a deer, a badger and a stoat, who were all dreaming of a warm, cozy fire. 10 little lights were shining out in the night, and 10 little friends were snuggled up very tight.
Kindle Kid presents Alice in Wonderland. It was a warm day in summer. Alice was sitting in the sunshine, and she was reading a book with her sister. The book was terribly boring, and Alice began to feel sleepy. Suddenly, a small, white rabbit raced past. The rabbit was wearing clothes. He pulled a watch from his pocket to check the time. He cried, "Oh dear! Oh no! I'm late! I'm late!" The rabbit shook his head and then disappeared down a rabbit hole. Alice followed the rabbit to the hole. She peered through the entrance, but she could no longer see the rabbit. She squeezed her head and shoulders into the hole. Then, she wriggled her body a little further. Suddenly, Alice felt herself falling. For a long time, she tumbled down the rabbit hole. Finally, she landed with a bump in a long hallway which had a tiny door at the end of it. "I'm far too big to fit through such a little door," Alice said to herself. Nearby, on a three-legged table, she found a small bottle. The bottle had a label on it which read "Drink me." Alice quickly drank from the bottle. Alice shrank until she was as small as a doll. She opened the door and quickly ran through it. "Oh, I'll never get back to the right size," Alice cried. She began to look for help. Soon, Alice met a green caterpillar who was sitting on top of a large mushroom. The caterpillar explained, "Well, I may be able to help if size is your only problem. One side of this mushroom will make you bigger, but the other side will make you smaller." Alice cut a piece from the left side of the mushroom, and she took a small bite. "Thank goodness. I'm growing," she cried. "Which way should I go now?" puzzled Alice. "That path will lead you to the Mad Hatter's tea party," said a cat who was sitting in a tree. Alice walked down the path. She came across a long table which had been set ready for a tea party. "How lovely! A tea party," she cried. "There's no room for you," shouted the Mad Hatter as Alice arrived. Alice ignored him and sat down anyway. She wanted to have a cup of tea with the March Hare and a sleepy little mouse. After the tea party, Alice continued walking. She found herself in the middle of a field where the Queen of Hearts was playing croquet. "Have you ever played croquet?" asked the Queen of Hearts. "Yes," Alice answered, "but I've never used a flamingo or a hedgehog to do so." "You will play with me and let me win or I'll chop off your head," ordered the Queen of Hearts. Alice wasn't very good at croquet. "Off with her head," cried the Queen of Hearts. Just then, Alice felt someone touch her shoulder. "Wake up! You've been sleeping," said Alice's sister. "I had a strange dream," said Alice. Alice told her sister all about her adventure. Before long, Alice realized that she hadn't eaten for hours and she ran inside for something to eat. Thank you for watching the video.
Kindle Kid presents a Christmas collar. It was Christmas Eve and Mila was out in the woods walking her dog, Lumi. "Wow! What's that?" said Mila, as she saw something sparkling in the snow. Lying on the ground in front of them was a collar. There was no name on it and no one to be seen for miles. Mila popped the collar around Lumi's neck to keep it safe until they could find the owner. That night, Mila was full of anticipation. She climbed into bed wondering whether Christmas was just as exciting for dogs. "Good night, buddy," she said, stroking Lumi's ears. Just as Lumi was drifting off into a gentle snooze, the room began to glow. "I must be dreaming," she thought, opening her eyes, "because it feels like I'm flying." Lumi rolled and wriggled, all the while lifting slowly into the air. The door flew open and she floated further and further out into the night sky. She whirled and wobbled as she moved closer to another figure gliding across the horizon. Lumi blinked in disbelief as, before she knew it, she was nose to nose with a reindeer. "Jiggling jingles," gasped the reindeer in shock. "I didn't know Santa let dogs do sleigh duty." "Santa? Sleigh duty?" replied a very confused Lumi. "I should be at home in bed." When they arrived, Lumi gazed in wonder as she saw an enormous glimmering sleigh. More reindeer appeared from every direction. One by one, they all landed softly and headed over to the sleigh. Suddenly, beautiful golden reins magically appeared around Lumi and all the reindeer. I think there may have been a mistake," she yelped, hoping someone would hear her as her feet lifted off the ground again. But it was no use. On they flew until they reached the house of the first child on Santa's list and landed gently on the roof. As he passed his team of reindeer, he spotted something strange. "Ho, ho, hold on a minute," said Santa. "You're not Dasher." Santa delivered the gift and made his way back to the sleigh. No, I'm Lumi," she said, and told Santa the whole story of her surprising adventure. "That's no ordinary collar your human found," chuckled Santa. "All my reindeer wear these magical collars that call them into action on Christmas Eve." "So where is Dasher?" asked Blitzen. "I think I know where to find her," said Lumi. After a quick sniff of the air, she knew which way to go. "Follow me," she said, and guided Santa and his reindeer to the woods. They set the sleigh down and Lumi started to search for the spot where Mila had found the collar. She sniffed the ground and the trees until eventually, she led Santa to the right place. Santa blew a tiny golden whistle, but Lumi couldn't hear a thing. Then, all of a sudden, a beautiful reindeer came bounding through the trees. "Dasher!" cried Santa with glee, as the reindeer nuzzled into his chest. Santa took the collar from Lumi and placed it around Dasher's neck. "I'm so glad we found you," beamed Santa. "It's a good job Lumi was here to help." "Thank you, Lumi," said Dasher. "I was racing with my brother in the woods and my collar must have fallen off." Santa hopped back into his sleigh and checked his watch. "Crinkling crackers," he said. "We need to leave now if we are going to deliver all these presents on time." "Next on the list is a little girl called Mila," said Santa. Lumi's face lit up with joy. "Well, I can certainly help. You find that house," she said, and off they went. Santa and Lumi climbed down the chimney with some presents for Mila and her family. Lumi crept quietly back into her bed and fell asleep, exhausted after her magical journey. Mila and her family woke up on Christmas morning to find some presents waiting for each of them. There was even something extra special under the tree for Lumi. Thank you for watching the video.
Tulip class were all listening eagerly, waiting for Mr. Clark to tell them the big news. "Next week," said Mr. Clark, "we are going on a very special trip to the fire station. We will meet someone called Charlie, who will tell us all about being a firefighter." All week, the children were buzzing with excitement. "I can't wait to meet Charlie," said Dylan. "I bet he's so cool. I think he'll be really strong," said Medina. "I'm going to tell him that I want to be a firefighter too," said Teo. Finally, Monday arrived and it was time to go to the fire station and meet Charlie. Tulip class lined up with their partners and made their way to the bus. Billy and Omori sat together, talking about what they thought might happen at the fire station. "I hope Charlie lets me ride in the fire engine," said Billy. "I really hope he shows us how to use the hose," said Omori. When they arrived, Mr. Clark led the children off the bus and into the fire station. "This is Charlie," said Mr. Clark. Charlie stood in front of them and waved. "Look at his awesome uniform," said David. Charlie pulled off her helmet. "Hi, Tulip class," she said. "It's so good to meet you. I'm Charlie and I'm a firefighter. Does anyone know what a firefighter does?" "You put out fires," said Grace. "You help people in emergencies," said Aisha. "You rescue kittens from trees," said Kai. Charlie smiled. "Firefighters are part of the emergency services and we help keep people safe. If there is a fire, you can call us and we will come to rescue people and put the fire out. Sometimes, we rescue animals too." "Is it hard?" asked Annie. Charlie thought for a moment. "Being a firefighter can be hard," said Charlie. "Fires are dangerous, so I have to be very brave. I also have to keep fit to make sure I am strong enough to do the job. But the thing that every firefighter needs most is a great team. It's the other firefighters that help me do my job, even when it's hard." "Now, who wants to see the fire engine?" asked Charlie. They headed out behind the fire station to find a big, bright red fire engine. "Wow," said Billy. "It's amazing. If you'd like to get in then I need to see some great teamwork," said Charlie. "Are you ready to take turns?" Tulip class lined up in pairs and waited patiently until everyone had been inside. Mr. Clark took lots of photographs of the children sat behind the steering wheel. I'm just like a real firefighter, said Medina. Can I have a volunteer to use the hose? Asked Charlie. A sea of hands shot up and Charlie chose Omori first. It's very powerful, said Charlie. Hold on tight and we'll do it together. Let's see if the water will reach that building. The hose came to life and a huge jet of water shot forwards, covering the wall. Good job, said Charlie. You would make a super firefighter. After everyone had used the hose, they headed back into the fire station to learn more about all of the equipment. Charlie's amazing, said Dylan. She's even cooler than I imagined. I hope I can be as good a firefighter as Charlie when I'm older, said Teo. She's incredible, said Medina. I'm going to be a brave, strong firefighter when I grow up too. I'll be in your team, said Annie. As the class got ready to leave, Aisha walked over to join Charlie. Charlie, should I be a firefighter when I grow up? She asked. You should be whatever you want to be, said Charlie. The best thing you can be is yourself.
I will be astronaut. I will be veterinarian. I will be firefighter.
I will be athletic.
I will be musician.
I will be scientist.
Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe.
Kindle Kid presents Around the World with Max and Lemon. Max was in her tent drawing a picture of Lemon. There are no other toys that look like you, Lemon, she said. Dad popped his head inside. That's because Lemon is unique. What does unique mean? Max asked. It means one of a kind, said Dad. We are all unique. There's no one exactly like you. Not even up a mountain? Asked Max. Not even in the desert or the jungle, said Dad. Not even in the Arctic or the ocean? Asked Max. Not even on a faraway island, said Dad. You could travel the whole world and not find a single person who is exactly the same as you. You are unique. I'm not sure, said Max. Come on, Lemon. Let's find out for ourselves. Max packed a rucksack with everything that she and Lemon would need. She waved goodbye to Mum and Dad, then headed off on her scooter to find out if she really was one of a kind. On a tall mountain, Max made a friend called Anka, who loved bright colors. Just like me, said Max. Do you like to do colorful paintings? But Anka preferred to weave colorful patterns. We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Anka a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. In a dry desert, Max made a friend called Noor, who loved music. Just like me, said Max. Do you like to sing? But Noor preferred to play lovely tunes on her favorite instrument. We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Noor a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. In a thick jungle, Max made a friend called Pakaya, who loved stories. Just like me, said Max. Do you like to read them in books? But Pakaya preferred to listen to tales sung by his dad. We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Pakaya a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. In the cold Arctic, Max made a friend called Gertrude, who loved the snow. Just like me, said Max. Do you like to whiz down hills on a sledge? But Gertrude preferred to go snowshoeing.
We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Gertrude a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. In the blue ocean, Max made a friend called Adam, who loved to swim. Just like me, said Maximum. Do you like to float on the surface? But Adam preferred to dive deep down under the water. We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Adam a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. On a faraway island, Max made a friend called Chloe, who loved animals. Just like me, said Maximum. Do you like penguins best? But Chloe's favorite animal was the enormous humpback whale. We're similar, but not the same, smiled Max, giving Chloe a special picture that she had drawn. She said goodbye to her new friend and headed on her way. Once Max had ticked off every place on her list, she started the journey home. It wasn't long before she was back with her family. How was your trip? Asked Dad. Did you find anyone exactly like you? I made lots of new friends, said Maximum. Each one was a bit like me, but no one was exactly the same. So, you traveled the whole world and didn't find a single person exactly like you? Asked Dad. I guess I am unique after all, smiled Maximum, just like everybody else. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe the channel. Kindle Kid presents The Runway Iceberg. Land ahoy, shouted Rossi, looking out to sea with her telescope. Shall we dive in and explore, Captain? You know I don't like swimming, Gasper said with a sigh. Suddenly, a cracking sound came from below them. Before they had realized what was happening, a chunk of ice had broken off and Gasper and Rossi were floating out to sea on an iceberg. Quick, swim, shouted Rossi. But Gasper was afraid. I can't, he cried, peering into the deep, dark sea below. The iceberg floated out farther and farther until they could no longer see land. What are we going to do? Asked Gasper, trembling. How will we ever get back? We're brave explorers, remember, said Rossi, holding Gasper's flippers. We will find a way. Gasper took a deep breath. I guess we could use our flippers to row back, he said. But which way is home? Lift me up, said Rossi. She climbed onto Gasper's head. But she was still not high enough to see land. Try jumping, she suggested, giving him a little nudge with her foot. Gasper jumped, and they both landed on the ice with a thud. Need some help finding your way? Asked Asno. Petrol from above. Oh, yes, please, called Gasper. Which way is land? It's this way, called the Snow Petrel, flying high above them. Gasper and Rossi used their flippers to row as hard as they could, but the current kept pushing them the wrong way. Need us to give you a push? Asked an Antarctic silverfish from below. Oh, yes, please, called Gasper. The silverfish pushed the iceberg along. Until suddenly, it became stuck. We'll never get through here, exclaimed Gasper. Need some help breaking through the ice? Asked a blue whale from the deep. With a huge flip of its tail, the whale smashed the ice and cleared the way. Gasper and Rossi bobbed along behind it, glad to finally be on their way back to safety. Land ahoy, squawked the Snow Petrel. It's all been a great adventure, said Rossi, grinning. We're just like real explorers. The sun shone brightly in the sky as Gasper and Rossi headed for home. Hey, stick to your side, Captain, laughed Rossi, as Gasper's tail feathers tickled her feet. The two penguins turned to face each other in shock. The iceberg was getting smaller and smaller. It's melting, shrieked Gasper. We need to move faster. I'm right on the edge, grumbled Gasper. The silverfish swam quicker, and the blue whale helped to push. But the ice was melting too fast. We'll have to swim from here, said Rossi. You can do this, Gasper. I know you can. You are the captain. After all, the silverfish started to cheer. Gasper, Gasper, Gasper. Soon, everyone had joined in, and Gasper began to feel braver. Gasper gulped. Then, with one big jump, he splashed into the water. Beerah, he spluttered. It's so chilly. Use your flippers, shouted Rossi as she dived in over Gasper's head. We, said Rossi, as she headed for home. Gasper flapped his flippers and followed nervously behind. It wasn't long before Rossi and Gasper were back, home with their families. You did it, Captain, said Rossi. You got us through our most dangerous adventure yet. I guess I did, agreed Gasper, feeling proud. But I couldn't have done it without my trusty first mate. Thank you for watching the video.